Hey everybody, I'm Russo. I do a little work here and there, and you're watching Raconteur Weekly, the now monthly show where I discuss the things that I'm working on in the weeks to come. So, what's this? Not a calendar? Well, no, it's some serious glass. And yes, something that I may be needing while I'm on this new path of mine. And if you're wondering about the No Man's Sky spaceship project, well, I've still got that going, but it, coincidentally, is what led me to this. So, I will explain momentarily. Eventually, I will get back to that particular ship, I suppose. But let's see what we can do with this lens. And, well, would you look at that? It is some tiny stuff, and some of this you've seen before, though I suppose I should say it isn't all of my epic scale things, but it's mostly new things that I've built and some other things just there for reference. And I suppose most notable here are the little guys, and this is 6mm scale, so those guys are real short. And there are also some robots, weird robot things, but we can talk about that in due time. First, those people. Is it difficult and dainty work? Yes, there's no question about that. But, as far as dainty, delicate things go, it's not that bad. As you can see, it starts with a Hobby Lobby star hole punch. I think there's just one of those. Or one size, that is. And it's a pretty straightforward process. You just punch the star, fold the star, cut the star, fold the star again, and seal it somehow, because it'll have this Lay's potato chip look. It's all hollow in the back. And I usually just drip super glue on the top. If you do that and you make the hollow part their stomach, cover it up with a gun, then you may never see that. Of course, the alternative, because this is cardstock, something like a 75 to 90 pound, it's thick, but it's not that thick. But regardless, you'd use a thinner paper, something even thinner than a standard printer paper, something like a yellow legal pad, and you would make clothes out of that. So here I have my first figurative piece, and that is, it's a guy from Monster Hunter. So I've got a picture of the actual armor here. It's not very big, it's not a very good picture. You can see I got Brock and Jellybean to match, but yeah, it's some darkish purpley armor and a big scythe. It is what it is. But yeah, for a first try, I think this is pretty good. It's mounted on a penny. And this is just one way that I tried to do the grass on the penny. And this is just painting on a piece of cardstock that's about the size of a penny. I don't know what it is. 18.5, 19mm, cut by hand. It's not that good. But yeah, we can look at that guy next to the Metal Gear Rex, which, well, doesn't quite make it into frame. And we can even move a watercolor guy in here, and you can see that if our Monster Hunter weren't on the penny, the Games Workshop base would probably come up to, his neck? He's a pretty short guy. But yeah, what else? We made those robot guys, the robot guys that I mentioned. And this is sort of a spin around, don't get too dizzy, I won't hold it too long. But just so you can see the other type of grass that I did, which is under the robot, and I think it looks pretty good. See if we can't do a video about that. But all you gotta do is put a bunch of stick glue on the penny, and get some on your finger too, and then dab it. And it gets this sort of whipped cream stiff peak look. Then you drip super glue on it. Move it around with a toothpick, and it'll get hard real quick. Super glue, moisture, But yeah, funny little robots. And I wanted World War II era American military units. And you probably noticed the tanks that were in that, second shot? The paper tanks. And those are all right. They weren't in the right scale, but I made them the right scale, and that made them very difficult to put together. So I made another tank, and that is this one. It's the same tank, it's the same scale. I don't have the other tanks next to it because they're ugly, but it is from what I think is the first 1 to 200 tanks and vehicles pack from M. Bergman on Thingiverse. Of course, those are 1 to 200, so you have to do a little bit of scaling to get it to 1 to 285. But this is sliced the same way as most of the things that I make, but I didn't use 110-pound cardstock, which is what I usually do. This time I used standard, 20-pound printer paper, copy stock. Copy stock? I think so. It's not bond paper or anything like that, so it's got to be stock. But yeah, I can go over this sort of thing in a video because I need more tanks and things like that. Maybe a Jeep. I wanted a Jeep, but the traditional papercraft route, shrinking things down, the designs just didn't work that well. So we'll get off of this, and it may be something that we discuss more later on. We gotta look at something else. This beautiful Imperium building number 3 for Epic 40K. It's 6mm scale as well. Created by Fractal Noise on Thingiverse, and this is where I think we're going to get a good video out of this, because Fractal Noise's version for 3D printers is perfect, but for my purposes it's not so much, and it has some issues which I'll discuss later. Again, fine for 3D printers, but for me I had to split it into a bunch of parts and combine them and do other things. Also, design-wise, on mine things are in a few different places. But hey, in all, it's not that bad. Really, I just need to slice all the buttresses a different way, and that would completely get rid of the stepping, which still apparent there. I don't have the base, but that is so I can have the stained glass windows, which is a really easy thing to do. I just need to find an LED tea light to put in there, because right now I got nothing. This is on my phone for scale. It's a Samsung, I don't know what it's called, Rugby Pro. It's the one you can throw against the wall and then drop in the sink. But it's got a light on the back. That's the important thing. So, yeah, the building. That's a pretty cool deal, and actually, eventually, I would love to have a whole table of this 6mm terrain, and that's what, 4 feet by 6 feet? So I've come up with this plan using a local downtown area, which should basically be this. So, there are a few things that need to be taken care of here. But, you know, it's sort of big things conceptually, so we'll leave that to the video that is for that, won't we? Anyway, this is nice. I like it. And glowy windows. That's pretty good. But that's all I have for now. So, until next time, you've been watching Raconteur Weekly on Rousseau Works, and I'm Rousseau. Out.